Plaintiff Daniel Ingram says he's been friends with the defendant for over 30 years, and he's always getting into some kind of trouble. Daniel says the defendant has gotten several DUIs, lost his license for 10 years, and was even arrested for domestic violence. And Daniel's suing him today for unpaid loans and attorney fees. Defendant Douglas Haggard says Daniel is nothing but a competitive control freak, and he's been that way since they were kids. Douglas thinks Daniel is just jealous of him because he's better looking, and he insists Daniel told him that he did not have to repay him for anything.
Tell me what happened.
Well, sir, I've been trying to avoid this action, trying to give him a chance to do the right thing, pay me what he owes me. I've known Randy for over 30 years. He's always been in some kind of trouble, drinking, DUIs, lost his license for 10 years. A couple years ago, was arrested for a domestic violence case. He got his act together after he got his license back, and he formed his own business, doing remodels. And so he approached me with the idea of flipping houses, and it was very attractive to me. And
He was very attractive to you.
the idea of flipping houses.
Oh, the idea of flipping the houses. Okay, all right.
So,
I know some people loan money because of a person's, because they go with the person or they're attractive.
With his 20 years of carpentry experience.
I don't have no problem. Y'all go together, it's no problem with me.
Hey, I object.
I'm not that type. I don't discriminate. I don't make a big deal. Doesn't matter. Go ahead, sir.
All right, with his 20 years of carpentry experience and my credibility to get a loan, together we could form a business and buy a place and start renovating houses. And
Let me hear from him first.
Okay.
Then we'll get back to your claim about the loans. Sir, what do you want to tell me in terms of background?
Well, like Dan said, we've been friends for over 30 years. You know, we've always had a rivalry ever since we were kids, kind of a love-hate relationship, I guess, you know. He's a control freak, and when he says that I've had my fair share of troubles...
I told you doing something. He's a what type of freak?
A control freak. He likes to control everything.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
And,
all right.
And for him to say that I've had, you know, my problems, I have with the law, so has he. So, you know, that's neither here nor there.
Okay.
But Dan's very money hungry, has been since he was a kid, and as an example for controlling, growing up, we were always competitive in shooting pool, playing slot cars or whatever. If he was at my house spending the night, and he would get angry because he wasn't winning.
Go ahead.
all coming out.
He'd grab up his stuff.
Coming out little by little. Just having fun. I'm going to leave you alone. You know I'm having fun. That's what you should expect when you come here. So you saying as a kid he was even a selfish guy then?
And growing up, I think he's had a big jealousy problem. I've always been the better looking guy. I've always had the better looking girlfriends. You know, my Harley looks better than his. You know, and
You jealous of him?
Hardly.
And, you know, I've been in business for myself. I carry a great rating. I'm well respected in the business community. I have an A rating with the Better Business Bureau.
Okay.
And the money that I borrowed from him was for a personal loan.
All right, let me allow him to tell me about the loan because he's suing you. So, sir, go right ahead.
Okay.
Tell me why you're suing him regarding this loan.
He came to me and said that he's about to lose his house, he can't pay his bills, they repossessed his truck, I can't pay my child support, can you loan me some money? How much do you need? $2,500. I said, okay, I'll loan you $2,500 and we'll sign an agreement that you pay me back by the end of the year with interest, 1.5%. We signed this contract.
And you're suing him for $2,200, meaning he's only paid you $300?
Here are the amounts that he's paid me.
Let's see. Go ahead.
Okay, I signed that contract, agreeing to pay that $2,500 back. When I did, later on, I want to say probably April or May, Dan, his wife, myself, and my wife were all out, and we were sitting at a bar, and he just inherited some money. He said, you know what? You don't have to pay me back that money. And I said, what?
That's baloney.
You did not say that.
I did not
You
say
swear.
that.
You know,
Did not
this
say
is
that.
perjury.
I did not say that.
He said, you don't have to pay me back the money. And I
Was
said,
he
you know
drunk?
what, Dan? No, he wasn't drunk. Later on, when he grabbed my wife's butt, he was drunk.
Uh-oh.
But
That's
he
why
said,
you're not getting your money.
That didn't
What
happen
happened?
either.
Tell
he
me
said,
about that.
he said, you know what? Don't worry about it, because he just got an inheritance, okay? And I said, no, that's not how it's going to be. I said, I'm going to pay you that money back, Dan, you know? But when he said that to me personally, it made that contract null and void.
What I said was...
So I started paying him money and have continued to pay him money up until when it got slow for me at work again. I said, and then we talked a little bit later. I said, I will pay you as I get the money, and every time I get the extra money, I give him money. Well, he goes to my wife's work then, wants my address because he's going to sue me. And
What did you say to him about going to your wife's place of work?
oh, I called and I said, you know, you don't need to go to my wife's place of work. You know, that's not right.
Yeah,
It's
sir, did you do
harassment.
that?
I went through because it was months. He agreed to pay me
Yeah, but why
monthly
didn't you go to
payments.
his wife's job?
Because I couldn't find out how to get a hold of him. He moved.
You knew where his wife worked.
I knew where his wife worked. That's the only thing I knew. I didn't know his phone number. I didn't know where he moved to.
I'd given him
He
my
had
new
he had a
number.
moving sale.
Did
He
she
won't-
have a problem with it?
Not at all.
All right.
Not at all.
Till she talked
And
to
he
Dave.
agreed that if that contract was not fulfilled by the end of the year, that he would surrender these tools
see.
to me.
All right, sir, what's your defense? You believe the contract was voided the night he told you don't worry about it?
Yeah, I made it null and void, but, you know,
No,
being
you
a friend...
think it did. Go
being
ahead.
a friend, I still paid him money and it was making him payments. And I told him, I will pay you when I have the extra money, Dan. I promise you, you will get your money because I want to pay my debt off. And I've been paying him. And then a few weeks ago when he went to my wife's work, I told him, I said, you know, that's uncalled for. It's not cool. You don't do that. I said, you're not my first priority. My first priority is paying my support, taking care of my family, and then you. And he goes, well, I'll show you my first priority. And he hung up the phone. I called and left him a message. I said, will you please send me the receipts? Send me copies of all the receipts of everything I've paid you so that way I can compare them to my canceled checks. He said, yeah. Never did it. I offered him a $3,000 watch that I got from an investor that filed bankruptcy on me. He gave to me. I said,
I
I'll
got
give you
proof
this
here
with
that he was
return.
in the bar trying to sell that watch for $500.
Go
right
ahead,
here.
sir. Go ahead.
You was
So
in the
your
staging
defense
lane
is
trying
you
to
were
sell it
trying
for
to pay him and you
$500.
still are willing to pay him?
I've been paying him,
All right, so that means you're willing to continue paying him.
but not all this interest where he says, you know,
Promissory note, does it include interest?
that became null and void when he said I didn't owe it to
Only
him.
way you can nullify a written contract is by having another written contract or having a written amendment. You could write on here and then put another date and initial it. There's a theory in contracts called the parole evidence rule, meaning if you have something in writing, a contract, then the only way you can amend that contract is by amending it in writing. So it's not null and void. Now, if he were to agree today, if he were to say, well, yeah, I forgave the loan, then you would be excused from the loan. But
I never said that.
see, I didn't even have to ask him. He shook his head. So therefore, I have to grant him his judgment, and the interest
Honor,
was in
can
the
I-
contract. Yes, sir.
Just tell you what kind of person he is. This little lady that he's renting this slumlord house to, her husband died, and he was a couple of months behind for rent. So Dan goes and takes a trailer from him, a bunch of tools and stuff, and then
Give her a place to live.
so she can have a place to live. Then he takes her Jeep that's worth about $8,000 for about a $400 a month dump. He's just, I'm
You
like
are
the
money
fourth,
hungry.
That's-
I'm with
that
you
is
now.
not
He's
true.
money
What he's
hungry.
saying
You're
is not
money
true.
hungry.
I'm about the fourth person.
Your Honor,
I'm about
He
the fourth
agreed.
person he has sued in the past 4 years since he quit working.
He's money hungry. He's
That
going
is
to take
not
that from
true.
his Jeep.
You're a liar.
$2,253. Go ahead, eat your money. Whatever you're going to do.
He's a
with it. You
liar.
got your money. Judgment for the plaintiff. Have a good day.
you're a liar.
So are you.
He's a liar, and he agreed to pay me and make monthly payments to me, and he's a weasel, just like he always was.
He's the same old jerk that he's always been.